How long you been in the business?
For 6 months, 7 months.
And how many deals you have closed and pending altogether?
I have 6 closed and 2 pending.
Took me 8 months to close the first deal.
8 months. But that was a different time.
2017. Yeah, it was
Wasn't
different.
that a rough time, kind of?
I don't know. It was like it was the only time for me in 2017. I don't even know any better, any worse. If you want to grow your real estate career, this is the episode you want to pay attention to. Because today I got Valeria Sanchez with me, who is a newer agent, and she's already making some big moves. So, Valeria, how you doing?
Good, good. How are you?
Thanks for being here. And just wanted to just to give some context to our listeners. How long you been in the business?
For 6 months, 7 months.
And how many deals you have closed and pending altogether?
I have 6 closed and 2 pending.
Yeah. So what did you do before you decided to go into a real estate career?
Yeah, I was a personal banker. So I worked at Associated Bank. And I was there for 2 years. And that's pretty much where I learned the fundamentals of the finance
Working with
industry.
people? Oh,
Working with people, problem solving, kind of selling, obviously.
personal banking.
Yep.
So you're dealing with a lot of people that have a lot of money?
I worked in downtown Elgin.
Yeah.
So there was mostly, lower minority people.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't say that I saw millions of dollars,
Mm-hmm.
but I definitely saw almost 500,000 sometimes.
Yeah. And what that job, what is like the most important things to be successful at that job? Do you have to work with people, or is it more like accounting behind the screen?
It's
Was
all
it
about working with
People,
people.
yeah.
Yeah, I was mostly selling credit cards.
Yeah.
So, I educated people about credit, why it's important to have it. And I was actually a top banker for like a year and a half.
What is it required to be a top banker? What do you have to do to become top?
Just sell a bunch of credit cards.
Oh, so you were very successful at selling credit cards.
Yep.
How did you sell it? What did you say?
I just said, hey, do you have credit?
Uh-huh.
No, yes. Okay, well, here's a great credit card to help improve your credit. Or do you need to repair it? Let's get you the secured card. And so I had a lot of success just figuring out what the problem was and then finding a solution.
Nice.
So
Nice. And then you get the benefits by selling credit cards?
I would get like $25 for every credit card. So it was like nothing at the time, but it still helped me a lot.
But still, even that wasn't really driving you to sell the credit card, right? Was it the motivation for you? The $25?
Not really.
Not really.
No, I just really wanted to help people.
See,
Get
this
their
is what I'm
credit.
trying to get
Yeah.
right now. This was like that was the real core that was driving you. I wanted to help people. I see the opportunity.
Yep.
I have solution.
Yep.
Possibly, maybe not. And I would ask a question. And see, this requires sometimes a curiosity and eager to help out.
And it was like a lot of people that, they don't know about credit. They don't
Yeah.
know about finances. So like I really had to teach them the fundamentals. And like it was just nice seeing them go from like point A to point B.
And how did the real estate come about?
The real estate came about when in 2022 I wanted to buy my own place. So I think I was like 21 at the time. And I was just like living with roommates and I absolutely hated it. Worst idea ever. And
You were renting a place.
I was
with
renting a
roommates,
room.
Yeah.
And I hated it and I was like, I need to buy my own place.
Yeah, you buy something, put it in a refrigerator, next day it's gone.
I hated
Yeah, I've done
it.
that too. When I just got into America in 2009,
Yeah, so the struggle.
Of course.
But I was like, okay, I'm working like a decent job now. I have credit. I don't have any debt. So then I found my realtor. And he's actually been my mentor for like all these years. He's also an investor. And I told him, I was like, hey, can you help me find a place? And at that time in 2022, the market was really hot. Everybody was overbidding and stuff. And I wasn't able to find anything, but he knew a seller. So it was like an off-market deal that I got. And it was a condo in Elgin, 2-bed, 1-bath. And I got it for $175.
Condo, 2 baths, yeah? 2 bed.
2-bed, 2-bed, 1-bath. With his own garage and a really good area. And
Like
I
a
was like, I
coach
have
house?
to take it.
Like a coach house?
It's a quad penthouse. So I was like, yeah, I'll take it. And I got really lucky. It was a really good deal. And now I rent that property out.
You bought something else?
And then I bought my own primary home.
What was
And
it, a
I'm
house?
hacking. Yeah, a single family now.
Wow.
So I'm house hacking my
So how
single
old are you?
family. I'm 23.
And you already own a house?
Yep.
and an investment property. Nice. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so when you were buying your first investment property was for you to live in, right?
Right. That was
Yeah.
the.
Uh-huh.
But then I ended up renting it out
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, well, I could really actually cash flow if I rent it.
Is it cash flowing?
Yeah. It's like 500 a month.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. So what kind of interest rate you got on the first deal?
5.
5%?
And then the second one I got a 5.8.
Mm-hmm.
So I got lucky.
How long
because
between the first purchase and the second purchase?
It was like 8 months.
Whoa, that was quick.
Yeah. And I told my realtor, I was like, wait, don't I have to wait a year?
Yeah.
And he was like, well, you technically should, but I mean, you don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
And so, for me, it was kind of like an emergency because, again, I rented my condo. Again, I was renting with roommates, and again, I hated it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is just a sacrifice that I have to make right now. But eventually, I'm going to get my own house.
But you were still in the bank.
I was still at the bank.
Yeah, that's why you
That's
were
why.
using the W-2 income to be able, because
Right.
it's like one of the tips and suggestions for those who want to start buying things and they have the job and maybe they've heard about real estate investing as a great career and they're like, okay, I'm going to quit the job and become a real estate investor or real estate agent. That income that you already have is the thing that you're going to use to buy the house, the first property, maybe second, maybe third. You know, even if you're interested to become a real estate agent, even though I would, because I did it, I went into full time. You know, when I just got into the business, I decided I'm gonna cut the cords. Just plan B is gone. Only one option. It's full time real estate agent. And that was I don't know. I'm not gonna call it a mistake because I wouldn't be pushing as hard in the beginning. I'll be probably slow a little bit on growing as an agent, but I should have probably kept something else going on the side. Maybe not. I don't know. It's hard to say when it's back. But if you have a job, my suggestion would be probably keep it. And then whether you want to buy a property or become an agent first a little bit, it's going to be hard. And use that like you did. You used the income from the bank.
Because if I would have became a realtor to begin with, which was actually the plan, before I got my banking job, I wanted to become a realtor.
Why?
Just because I liked real estate.
Yeah, because
but then they were like, oh no, Valeria, you can't be a realtor and you can't be a banker because that's a conflict of interest. So I have to choose between the two, and I chose to be the banker first. So.
But like real estate attracted you because of the cash flow, because of investing side.
Well, yeah, but like I already had it in my mind that I'm gonna be an investor for a long time.
Yeah.
Since I was like 20.
Then why become an agent then? Be at a bank and
because
invest
I
on the
heard
side.
they can make a lot of money.
Yeah. As an agent, yeah.
And I could be like my own boss. Right. But I was like, I don't think I'm prepared for that yet. So I chose the safer route of being a banker first.
Sure. Because like being an agent, like there's a couple things that I'm picking up, and probably listeners are picking up too. First is that you were good with people. That's a biggest thing. That's a big portion of what we do, is to understand how people think, read between the lines, read people, being able to have like a heart of a teacher, always be, available, try to help. This is what this job is. It's not about the architecture and structures and knowing the buildings. You could be the smartest person in the world, but still be a bad realtor, And you could be a big investor too and be a bad realtor, So it's like two different jobs, honestly. And I was attracted into this career. Also, I wanted to have 100 properties, have 100 tenants, and chill. That was my goal. And I'm like, I don't have a real estate agent who can help me get there. So I'll become an agent myself. And when I got there in the business, I'm like, this is totally different from what I thought. But I'm like, let me see, maybe I can adapt, and I should probably have the skills available for this. And it worked. Okay. But I'm seeing people getting interested in the business as an agent, but they don't have the skill. They don't have that people drive.
It's a drive.
Yeah. It's like you have to feel like, okay, I'm very interested being around people. And behind the screen on a spreadsheet, I can be for a little bit, but I miss people. And so that could be something that, okay, you're one step closer to,
Yeah. Wait, so you became a realtor and then you bought your property?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was renting. I was renting for a long time.
Okay.
Then I became an agent. But I still had a previous business. I became an agent and I had a previous business for a little bit, still like shutting it down for a couple of months. And I used that tax returns from previous couple of years to buy. I was an agent for a little bit, and then as I was building up my income, then but it was hard for me in the beginning. Hearing what you've done in 6 months, it took me 8 months to close the first deal.
8 months.
Yeah,
But that was a different time, wasn't it?
2017. Yeah, it was
Wasn't
different.
that a rough time, kind of?
I don't know. It was like it was the only time for me in 2017. I don't even know any better, any worse. You
Yeah.
know, it was just it is what it is. I remember like two agents talking and we're eating pizza at the brokerage, and they're like, "How's the market?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's not bad." And she's like, "People not buying so bad." I'm like listening to this.
Mm.
I have no idea. I don't care. You know, I
Right.
was making my calls today. It's okay for me.
Mhm.
Yesterday was not good. Today is a little better. I don't care.
Yeah.
But looking back, yeah, a little market was a little bit slower. The rates were a little higher. Not that many buyers. When the house is up for sale, it would it would take a month to get an
Wow.
offer. You come in, you negotiate.
Interesting.
Right now it's like things flying off the shelf in 6 hours.
Yeah.
So it's great because there's a lot of buyers coming.
Uh-huh.
So you show properties, you write contracts,
Yep.
you show on social media that you're busy. So
Mhm.
I think it's a little bit easier to start maybe today. When did you become an agent?
In
20
2023.
Oh, 23. Okay,
But
okay.
I bought the property in 2022.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yep.
So you became an agent, you got licensed,
Mhm.
and how was it in the
Well,
first?
I actually quit my job full time at the bank.
Uh-huh.
Like,
And then
just like that.
Oh, you did like me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you went full time right away.
Yeah, but the goal was to work part time and be an agent part time. But they wouldn't let me work part time at the bank.
So you had to quit.
So I had to quit.
What was the thing? Well, what's the problem?
What do you mean?
Like couldn't work.
Oh, just
what
that
they
that
had
bank,
issue with?
they don't allow part timers. It's just like
Oh.
full timers.
Mhm.
And so then I got like this other job at a law firm for part time. But I had got my license and I was like already so busy and I was like I have to choose.
How did you become so busy right away?
Well, because I was pre-marketing.
Pre-marketing. What does that mean?
Just marketing before I actually got my license.
Uh-huh.
So I let everybody know that hey, I'm going to get my real estate license.
So good.
So I already had my lead waiting for me once I got my license. And so I had a bunch of people texting me, messaging me, and I was like, it's either like I go to my job or I show this house and like get my first deal. So I chose to show that house and that I just quit.
It's so good. It's like one of the top agents, he's the number one agent in our office. He was showing the whole process of him getting licensed. The reading the book, the getting tired from the book, the passing an exam, everything like that. And when he got his exam, he showed, I got it.
Mm-hmm.
He got the lead right there.
Yep.
He's got 2 showings and he was writing 2 contracts first day.
Yep.
Just by showing the process that he's getting licensed.
Because people like to see the
process.
journey.
Yeah, the
process.
journey. Yeah.
So if you're showing them that every day, they become inspired.
Mhm.
And then not only that, but they want to
cheer
work
for
with you.
Yeah. They're like, they support you. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
go. Let's get it. Did you
Right.
get it?
Right.
I'm like,
So-
hey, I haven't seen a post from you for a week. Did you get it or not?
Right. So I think it's part of making your clients and your audience a part of your story, kind
Mhm.
of.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that has helped me a lot because I was not expecting to be like so busy right off the bat.
Yeah.
But then, like, I make a video, I get a message. I make another one, I get another message. So it just
Is that how it works?
Yep.
You make a video, you quickly generate the lead.
yeah, it's like a warm lead too. It's not even like a
It's-
cold. It's like I want to
You
buy a
attract
house.
Yeah, you attract instead of chasing. You
Yeah,
know?
to be honest, all of my clients have come to me up to this point. Only one of them, I actually went to them. So, like, out of 6, I went to one of them, it was like a FISBO.
Mm-hmm.
I just called the sign and then built a relationship over time. And now I'm like his realtor. And we're doing like 2 deals right now. So
Nice.
it's kind of crazy.
So most of the deals are coming from social.
Yeah.
Yeah. But do you make calls or no?
Nope.
You don't. But you called that
No.
FISBO.
Only that one. I called the signs.
You got one and you got a deal.
No, I call like the FISBO signs that are outside.
Right. Oh, not the ones on online.
No, not the
But
ones
was he
online.
online?
He
When you
wasn't. He's not online at all.
that's he was not getting anything. No success with his.
No, he actually sold the house.
Oh, he sold on its own.
But then he's like, "Oh, I have another one coming up soon," and I was like, "Okay, can I see that one?" Like, I was like, "Oh, can I go take pictures and like do content for you for free,
Yeah.
just to market and promote you at
Mhm.
no charge?" And he was like, "Okay, why not?"
Mhm.
So then from there, he kind of got to know me and we built a relationship, and that's how that happened. But I don't like go through a list of people and call.
Mhm.
I haven't gotten there yet.
Do you want to?
I think I do want to eventually.
Mhm.
But right now, since I get my leads from social media, I haven't, like, I guess, focused on that.
You know, the funny story, that's how I started. When I got into the business, I was faced with reality. I was trying to find out how do you generate a lead. I would ask agents at the office, and one said, well, this one that I'm putting for sale, actually, I'm at a McDonald's. And I asked the other guy, well, this one is a friend of mine. Yeah, I asked the other guy, this one, actually, I met 3 years ago. I'm like, is there a system? How can I generate the leads? I need the system, please. And I didn't have social media at that moment yet. So I'm like, I go to YouTube and start to learn a podcast and everything. And everybody's talking about calling expireds at FISBOs.
Yep.
So that's what I started doing. I'm like, okay, if I call 200 people, I should be able to pull one appointment. I'm horrible and I'm going to squeeze one appointment. If I squeeze three, somebody's going to sign with me, finally.
Right.
And that's what I figured, and that's what I thought. It took me some time to finally make the calls. First of all, English is my second language, and it's getting better every year. So in 2017, it was, I wasn't talking for a living, so it wasn't really good. And even now, when I'm talking to strangers on the phone, I'm trying to convince them to sell a property with me. Um, it's I'm not it's not pulling, it's coming out as easy. So back then it was like horrible. So I was afraid of, and I would make a call and hide from my wife. I would, even if I'm in the office, I would try to find a room where I can close the door, and I would try to make a call, hoping nobody picks up the phone. But then I got into the moment, and I was calling for 3 hours every single day.
Wow.
I got the listing within a 1 month of calling. $570,000 listing in Northbrook. It took me a year to sell it because I overpriced it big time, and we sold it for 100,000 less. But I had a great relationship, and I was competing against 3 other brokers that are very, very experienced. The way I won was I was promising a seller that I'm going to ask all the sellers. I'm going to door knock the sellers and give them the information that we were for sale. I'm going to call the neighbors that sold, ask them for how was the activity on their listing price, how many offers they got, how many showings they got. It's 2017, so it wasn't crazy like this, whatever you put, it sells. And so just by this, and the clients decided to go with me.
Wow.
They knew I was newer. She asked me how long you're in the business. I'm like, yeah, I've been around a little bit. And I kind of pivoted, I didn't answer it directly. And so, like, what I'm trying to say is, like, by making these calls, first month I got one listing, and then I got probably like a listing per month.
Listing per month?
Listing per month, just by being a brand new agent, not knowing anything. I didn't know how to sell a property, didn't know how to put I remember when even like the first listing, I was with the seller trying to fill out the paperwork. Back then we had these MLS input sheets with bunch of boxes. And I would go and try to fill out the MLS input sheet. I'll bring it to the office. She was like, I don't need this. And it took me an hour to fill this up. And the seller was like so tired to filling it up. Like, we were just, how many square feet in the house? Bedroom, 3. Bathroom, 4. Like, all this information. She said, it was on MLS 2 years ago. We can just copy the whole thing.
Wow.
Clone the MLS listing and just, make it your own. But the data is there. And so basically what I'm trying to say is, like, I was making calls in the beginning. And that's how it started. And I was getting success. I wasn't selling them yet because I was always overpricing. Because I was like, I need to get the listing. So whatever you tell me to list it for, I'll list it. But I was kind of like, I was negotiating. Let's say I wasn't like easy on squeeze your commission down to 0. No, here's what I'm charged and this is what I'm worth. And I was reading the Grant Cardone's closer's guide, and I was trying to learn how to close, you know. And then I discovered a little bit of video, and then the video pivoted me away from calling.
Okay.
You know, and that's our generating buyers from video.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting so many buyers now, so I'll stop calling.
Okay.
And I stopped calling. Then I went back, and I was doing both. You know,
both at the same time.
But you know, like for me, what I've noticed, videos on social, will produce buyers. Calls will produce sellers.
Yeah.
You know.
That probably sounds about right because I don't have any sellers yet.
You will, that for sale by owner client that you have, he's gonna be buying. Yeah, he's the buyer.
Yeah, he's the investor. So I'm gonna have 2 listings.
He's gonna be buying. Your buyers will become sellers too.
Yeah.
You know, they will start selling. Like what I'm getting right now is like calls from my past buyers, let's sell. But to speed it up, it's pretty much the mailers could be one way. Yeah. If you sold something in the area, there could be one way to get the buyer, to get another seller. But like calls, it was something that I was focusing, because I always want listings.
Yeah. So when you call, you're just asking, oh, do you want to sell your house?
It depends who you call. You know, it depends. Like if you call for sale by owner, the problem that every single agent has, and maybe if you listen to this, maybe we'll see if that sounds about right. You think about, I don't know the whole path of call to close. So you're like, a lot of agents like that. They always like worried. So if they say something, I don't know what to say. And even if they're ready, I won't be able to move them. I don't know how to, schedule the appointment. What do I say if they tell me this? It's like, the first thing is you need to learn how to make calls every day. That's the first thing. It's a habit. Just make a call. Just make that thing ring. Second, when they pick up, you have the first line lined up. The first line, okay, I'm past the first line. So now, in 2 weeks, you're comfortable making the calls, and you know how to open up the conversation. Then like, okay, let's move forward. Now I know how to call. I know how to open it up. What's my next question? And you slowly start learning and start pushing. And then you're like, oh, I'm at the finish line. So I know how to run because every seller is a little different. Every conversation is a little different. True. But it usually will start with, I'm looking for the owner. My name is Valeria. I'm a realtor. You probably got a lot of calls from realtors by now. Haha. Yeah. And the seller will say, haha. Now you're already breaking a little bit of ice. Now you're building a little bit of rapport. By the way, are you cooperating with agents who bring buyers? No. Yes. Why not? Things like that. If it doesn't sell, are you interviewing other agents maybe or not? Yeah, I have a brother. He's a realtor.
Yep.
That's it. You're gone. You don't have no chance, pretty much. It's like you just keep moving. If I follow up with you in 2 weeks, then you start learning. Oh, okay, I got into. I'm against this wall now. How do I go through this objection? And slowly you start learning, and that because every agent is like, oh, I don't know how to go from A to Z. I'm like, you don't need to know. Go to A to B first.
Right.
So, but it develops nice skills of, making calls is a very crucial skill for.
Yeah, I'm going to start doing that. On Zillow, you can see a bunch of FSBOs. Yeah,
for free.
I'm going to start there.
Yeah. You think like you want listings?
Well, I'm going to have one next month, so I'm going to see how that goes.
Where's that coming from?
From my investor client, the FSBO. So
there you go.
We'll see how that goes. I think I do, though. I think it would be good to be on both the seller and buyer side. But, like, since right now I'm focusing mostly on the buyer side, like, I want to be perfecting that first. And then I guess I'm just going to jump into the seller side.
How do you, what kind of content do you make to generate them?
Just, like, helpful, valuable information, putting it out there, like, what's a FHA loan, what's a conventional, the basics, really, because most people don't even know the basics when it comes to buying a house. Yeah. So it's like if you just put it out there, that's like already an entry level content for entry level inquiries, which is how do I start?
Yeah, for me, I think like a lot of people know what I know. It's because you're in the business for every day. You're thinking about reading about it, like everybody knows, but people don't. People don't know what you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like we just did recently a podcast with Julia, one of our agents, and we did it in our language in Ukrainian, and we posted it on Facebook. And it was like how to buy a house, the first step to buy a house, and it got a bunch of views, got a bunch of comments, people share. I'm like, this is like I've done these type of videos like millions of times. It's like I'm already like what 8 years in the business or something. How to buy a house, first step. Don't you think I've done that already?
Yeah.
Millions of times, and I keep doing it. You know.
Yeah. I think you just have to recycle and the best content.
And we think that everybody saw everything. Like you posted something, you think everybody saw it.
Yeah.
That's what you think because you did it.
Yeah.
And you saw it. And you think everybody saw it. But people, first of all, they forget, and not everybody saw it. So
yeah. And you always have to constantly be posting too, because otherwise people are gonna just forget about you. So I always try to be like pretty consistent with my post
every day.
every day.
And I gotta keep reminding, like people forget about you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like people like you tell, oh, everybody knows that I'm a realtor. Yeah, but they forgot.
Right.
You know, especially, and now there's a lot of agents that come in and becoming new agents. You know, they're interested in this career because, well, maybe not after the lawsuit. Maybe it's gonna cool off a little bit. You know,
I hope so. I think it will.
Do you have a lot of friends that are interested in becoming agents?
Not at all.
Not really.
Nope. Not even like my family members or anything.
Interesting.
So.
We're getting a lot of people reach out to us, a lot, nonstop, all the time.
Even after the lawsuit. And what do they say?
Some of them will ask about it, about the lawsuit and how's it gonna work. Most of them just like, yeah, we passed the exam, we're ready. Like I always wanted to be an agent, because of our social media, we post a lot of success,
Yeah.
like sold on the contract, $1 million, boom, boom.
Yeah.
People think, oh, okay, well, if you just run the numbers, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it's not for everybody.
Most people are gonna do it and get out in like the first 2 months.
Yeah.
Because it's just like you really have to build up the attitude and like have the drive for it.
Hunger. You got to be self-motivated.
Yeah, disciplined.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I was like, I didn't have like a schedule, so I was like kind of all over the place. But now I'm getting a little bit better with like having like a routine and like knowing what I'm gonna do every day. But it's definitely in the beginning, it's just a mess.
Is it controlled by you, your day, or is it more by clients?
Right now, I would say my clients.
Yeah. Same thing. Same thing for me when I was selling. Clients drive my day. And at a certain point, I became a little bit irritated by it. I was like, I want to control my day. But when you work with buyers, there's no way you're going to do it, especially if you want to sell a lot of properties. It's just the nature of the business.
Yeah.
Just how it works. It's just whenever they want to see it, you have to be available or you have to send somebody.
Yep.
But if you send somebody, they also really don't like it as much.
Right.
They came to you, so they want you.
Yeah.
But there's a ways to run it, and we've done it. But if you're working with sellers, you control it a little bit more because you can book an appointment to meet. There's no rush to sell, to list. Yeah. Sometimes they say, I want to put it for sale, like tomorrow or by the end of the week. Yeah. Then you got 7 days to work it.
Yeah.
But with buyers, I'm like, I want to see it today.
Yeah.
And if you have some plans, today's you're not available, so they already don't like it. It's the nature of the business.
Yeah.
And you will grow. You will see like, okay, now I'm working more with sellers, and then you maybe have a helper that's going to help you with buyers.
Yeah.
Like, what's your goal? Like, what are you thinking?
Well, I mean, my goal is to make a bunch of money and buy more rentals.
So you're more focused on like invest instead of like building like a team.
I don't see this as like a job no, definitely not.
Really?
I mean, maybe until I'm like, I don't know, 35.
You gotta get hooked. You're gonna start listings, selling.
Maybe.
I'm like, oh, I'm getting a bunch of people coming my way.
But I mean, the real goal is to use the money that I'm making to buy more assets. And if it takes me 10 years, then it takes me 10 years. But I'm just thinking of it like year by year. Like I know what my ultimate goal is, and that's what I'm like focusing on every day. But I'm not gonna stress myself out thinking, I need to make like 100K this year
Mm-hmm.
or nothing like that. Like I'm just doing my best every day.
I mean, you're 23. You're
Right.
already doing really, really good. At that age, I was
Yeah.
23. I was, I was cleaning air ducts in New Jersey. Like I had some. 23 was what 2013. No, I was driving a truck. I was a
Okay.
truck driver back then.
At 23?
Yeah, 23 driving a truck. I kind of wanted a trucking company, but I'm like, oh, I was passionate about working out. So I was working out and bulking and pumping,
Uh-huh.
that was my kind of activities. And I wasn't really thinking about making too much money. I was just I was thinking about having a trucking company, and I ended up growing, but then I sold everything. Didn't like it. Wasn't my thing. It was just something I was in, and I felt like, okay, let's keep growing. But well, you're already 23. You're already like owning 2 properties.
Yeah, that's why I'm
Growing
like trying
sales.
to take it easy. I'm not trying to like push myself too much. Like
And
I said,
your friends are not buying yet. Or are they already
they're
buying?
like almost there.
Mm-hmm.
They're like
Almost there.
25, 26.
You'll see 27, 28 when they start. When was it? 220. Yeah, I saw in like 29, 30. I started seeing like my friends started buying, and now they're buying. Like almost all my friends already own something, so now they're like reselling a lot of times.
Yeah.
So that's when it starts becoming more interesting too.
Well, I
And
actually
dealing
have
with friends is cool.
yeah. Well, I actually have some young clients like 24. I have like and a 23. Like I have some younger ones. It's just like I think it's all about the maturity and like the where you're at financially. Like some people already graduated college, they have a good job, they're ready.
Mm-hmm.
Others are still figuring out.
Yeah,
Others are just scared to like buy
of course.
period. So it just depends like where they're at.
Of course. And then like right now, everybody's on social, and because when I was 20, whatever, 25, even I'm 34 right now. It wasn't as available. The information wasn't as available,
yeah.
So right now
Right.
information is available. So a lot of people are like, oh yeah, owning a property, investing, cash flow, this and that, and then refinancing and then buying more. It's available. It's out there. Everybody
Yep.
promotes it. So it's gonna move the home ownership a little bit to a younger age.
Yep.
Which is great. It's what, like, I think the stat is this: 60%, 63% of households are homeowners, which is already good. 2/3 is homeowners, 1/3 is still renters.
Yep.
But still, I think it's even moving. Well, depends on what's going to happen with prices and taxes, insurance, and everything.
Yeah.
It's becoming harder to buy.
Yeah, it's becoming harder to buy, and that's why I try to tell like my social media that the younger and the earlier you can get in, the better.
Right.
Because I literally would have been priced out if I waited a little longer in 2023. Because I got that house for 190, and I think my max was like 200. So if I would have waited a couple more months,
That's it.
I literally wouldn't. I would have had to go way far out of Elgin.
Right.
So I think I got the last cheapest house in Elgin.
Nice.
So that's why I tell people like the earlier that you can get in, the better.
Do you
'Cause it's
think
just
how
gonna
much
get more
is now
expensive.
the house you bought?
How much is worth now? Well, I put some money into it, so I think it's probably worth like 235.
Already a little bit
Yeah,
on its own, passive. You're not planning to sell it. You're gonna keep it.
I'm gonna keep it.
Yeah, it's gonna keep growing, keep growing.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So you're like, your end goal is to be an investor.
Yep.
And owning a bunch of properties, yeah.
A bunch of properties so that my cash flow covers my lifestyle.
And then your lifestyle grows, and then you need more properties.
Yep. No,
No, it's like, I mean, that's what's
I'm
gonna
not
happen.
gonna live like a crazy luxurious lifestyle. More like modest and frugal. That's the end goal. And like obviously live out of in another state. I don't want to stay in Illinois forever.
No.
I want to live in like Oregon.
What's about Oregon?
Huh?
What's in Oregon?
A bunch of trails and nature and
Oh yeah.
it's really
Never
nice.
been there.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
Like Seattle area, it's awesome.
Yeah, Oregon's Washington. It's all nature. Yeah, I had a couple friends that just went there once and then they moved. Like right away, boom.
Do that.
They moved. Like what?
It's expensive.
Over there? That's where the Amazon came from. Starbucks, whatever else is in there.
It's
I think
really expensive.
Microsoft.
Yep, they have a Microsoft.
Yeah,
Thing.
Seattle is it's a place where the good ideas get born because of the nature, maybe but a lot of
Yeah.
air and stuff.
It's also kind of rainy, which I don't kind of
Yeah.
like that part.
Yeah.
But I think I would like to live out or retire somewhere out
Mhm.
there. But yeah, that's my end goal.
So going back to real estate sales,
Hmm.
why do you think clients pick you? Why do you think they choose to go to you?
I feel
Don't
like,
they have other options?
yeah, I'm sure they do. But I feel like they can tell that I'm pretty genuine
Uh-huh.
through my content.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they can perceive that
Mm-hmm.
over the video.
But you're not like producing so much content.
But
You're
it's
not
like
like
quality over quantity.
yeah, but it's not like you're like for somebody who's listening. Oh, content like
Uh-huh.
I don't have time for that.
Uh-huh.
Like, how much time does that take you?
Literally 5 minutes, 10.
You're like you just whatever you have on your mind,
Yep.
you'll just share, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's not like oh the whole production. I need to sit down, script.
No,
You
I
just share.
literally I don't script anything.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like I think I'm very genuine, and I also offer a lot of my knowledge, my experience. I've already been through the home buying process twice,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm an investor, so I know what to look out for. I know how much the HVAC issues cost.
Nice.
I know how to look at the foundation, the roof, and I feel like I also do leasing. So people like if you want to buy a rental property, okay, I'll help you buy it and I'll help you lease it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like everything that they want.
I remember when I got into the business, I heard this quote from Brian Buffini. It's hard to trust a realtor who doesn't own real estate.
Yep.
Now, everybody gotta take their time. Not everybody is in the position to buy real estate as soon as you become an agent. Somebody has to rent for a little bit and then they accumulate some money.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to take their time. But if you can do it and you're getting into real estate sales or you're already in real estate sales, it's gotta be like almost like a step one.
Yep.
Almost. You have to go through the process so you can then lead others.
Right.
And it's gonna happen to you also naturally. You're gonna be able to like, look, I've done it.
Yep.
This don't worry about it. Look at this. There's a railroad running next door. So that's an issue maybe.
Yep.
You look at that. That we can't change. But the paint on the baseboard,
Yep.
no problem. You know?
Yeah.
Because like, oh, I'm focused that this outlet's not
Yep.
screwed all the way in. Or
Yep.
there's a crack on the foundation.
Right.
Some people scared of it. And sometimes it's only $300 or $500 to repair.
Right. Exactly. So like that's where I also come into play where I'm like, okay, my clients sometimes they panic about these things and I'm like I kind of have to like reassure them
Mm-hmm.
and comfort them. So I think that's another valuable thing that I bring to my clients is I just have like that nature of guiding
Mm-hmm.
and assuring them that everything's going to be okay. And I think that's really important. I'm not just going to be like a cold realtor to like no, figure it out.
Don't you think one day maybe if once you start growing, you'll be like, oh, actually, let me build a team.
Building a team,
No.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I don't think so.
Why?
Why? Because I would rather just like do everything on my own. Like sometimes I'm like, yeah, it would be nice to have like an assistant go show for me, but I would have a very small team,
Mm-hmm.
very tiny, like 3 people.
Sometimes show depends on what,
Mm-hmm.
and depends on where the client is in the process too. I think a lot of paperwork is going to be like schedule this, schedule inspection, they'll schedule walkthrough. You can have somebody do the walkthrough. That's
Yeah.
one thing that's like, and you still be at the closing. I'm like,
Mhm.
do you believe that being at the closing is important?
Yeah, I'm always at the closing.
Yeah.
100%.
Because some agents say that even like coaches and different like social media guys are like, yeah, going to closings is a waste of time. I'm like, no,
No.
it's so like it's like they're signing a bunch of papers.
They're scared.
They're scared. They have a lot of questions. They're they want you there. Hey,
Yeah.
be with me. I'm signing these papers. Just be there. Just drink coffee. I want you to
Yeah.
be there. It's.
Yeah.
I know it's sometimes for us like, okay, I have to spend like I do a walkthrough. I go to the closing. I sit the closing. I go from the closing. It's like sometimes 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
But the relationship you're building with that
Right.
person,
Right.
he's gonna pay it off. You know, they're
Yep.
gonna be hugging you, everything
Yeah.
pictured, and you have some content as well. You know,
Referrals.
referrals are gonna come from this. This is important. I mean,
Yeah.
if you were bad agent and now you're just sitting at the closing, it's not gonna help. But
Mhm.
that's like a cherry on
Yep.
top. You
Yep.
know,
Yep. I agree. 100%.
going to close. Yeah, but going back to team, like the paperwork, scheduling inspections, earnest money delivery.
Yeah, that would be nice.
You got a bunch of deals going. It's
Uh-huh.
all mess. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's it depends because it was never like I always wanted to sell 100 houses a year. That was my goal. Like day one, like I want to sell 100 houses a year. That's always been the goal. Just to reach it, just to prove myself I can do it.
Mhm.
Once on the way there, I'm like, I'm getting so many clients. I need help.
Yeah.
You know. And slowly, okay, let's get a team. Let's build a little team. We're building a team, and like, okay, how about we build a brokerage? And it was like that, you know.
Yeah.
Like, if you ask me why I built a brokerage, no idea. I don't know. It's like, why did I become an agent? It's hard for me to say. It's like, I was interested in real estate investments.
Yeah.
How did that lead into being an agent? I don't remember. It's like that. It's like I make decisions too fast.
But
I'm like,
that's good, and that's good.
it's good and not. I need
Yeah.
somebody to hold me. Like my wife is like, "Woo." Like every time I have an idea, she's like, oh wait,
Yeah.
and then we start thinking, okay, gotcha. You know,
I feel like I'm
too
the
fast.
same way. I make like that.
Yeah,
And then my mom yells at me for it, and I'm like, relax.
yeah. I mean, you're doing good. You know, I'm 23 years old. You know, being real estate sales, owning 2 properties, like sky's the limit. You know, you're gonna be on a newspaper pretty soon. But yeah, it's just like I wanted to invite you here to do like a little inspiration for somebody maybe younger, maybe somebody who's like, you know, I'm in the business for a couple of years and I'm still can't get it going. And
Yeah.
here's somebody who's 6 months in the business.
Yeah, I mean, I
killing it.
think the biggest thing is just putting yourself out there, and just every day having like showing up,
Showing up. That's right.
showing up.
It's
every
already
day.
50% of the job.
Right,
You
and that's
you
the
be there
hardest
on
part.
time. Yeah.
It's like when you want to go to the gym at 6 a.m. You don't want to, obviously, in the
I
morning.
don't and I don't go.
But it's like if you show up,
You're gonna do something.
it's fine.
Something's gonna happen.
Right.
Yeah, you're gonna grab a dumbbell here and there.
Yeah, and that's all it is. Is showing up,
Yeah.
putting yourself out there, and just making the effort
Mhm.
to actually.
You go to office every day?
No, I actually don't. I go like maybe twice a week.
That's still good.
So, but the other days I just work from home.
But you work every day.
Yeah, every
You
day.
do something. You have
Every
a
single
structure a
day.
little, yeah. Right.
Every day. Yep.
I used to go to office every day, 8:30, before manager goes and opens the door. I'm there.
Wow.
You know? I was like, I'm the office guy. If I'm there, I'm gonna start doing something.
Uh-huh.
I'm start making calls. I'm start working around, asking questions.
Mhm.
Oh, I got an idea. I'm gonna send mailers and do a bunch of stuff. And then I go home. I feel good. 'Cause when I'm home, I started working from home a little bit later for a little bit when I have a little bit of a system build up, and I feel even good when I'm home. I'm doing the work from home, and then I'm doing the work from home, and then I drive to the office just to change the environment. Even today, to this day, I do the same thing. Come to the office here and there for a couple hours. I go home, change the environment. I got new thoughts, and I'm doing something else. Like I need to change the walls around me.
True.
It happened. I hacked it in myself. Like, okay, I'm a little bit stuck. What do? I don't know. Today is like I kind of don't have anything lined up, but I don't want to waste the whole day with doing nothing. So
Right.
I get in the car, got an idea. So
Yeah.
sometimes I even pull off, or sometimes I even do it on a when I'm driving, which is not a
Yeah.
good suggestion. But when I go home, I'm like, oh, I got an idea. Wife talking to me, she's giving me like I'm eating. I'm like, I got a bunch of ideas. Oh wait, I gotta so like just changing the rooms. It's
Yeah.
it's
Well, my office is like pretty far. Otherwise, I would go. And that's the thing. I like Elgin.
Where's the office?
It's by Midway.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah.
And like all these offices are so far.
You should join Komar. It's closer.
Not really. It's almost the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost. But yeah, I'm actually thinking about like maybe next year moving closer like over here. just so that I could.
Next year is
easily
gonna be
go.
more expensive. You gotta buy this year.
I know, I
You know,
know.
like the
Oh,
more
I
you wait.
actually I tried, but since I'm self-employed, I need 2 years
Two
now.
years taxes. That's right.
So that kind of
Oh, did you? Doesn't your 2022 still applies?
my what?
You had the income from 2022, no? From
Um,
the bank.
no, they said minimum a year of being a realtor,
Oh,
but like to be good too, or I could have a cosigner.
got it.
But no, my income from 2023 ended in October of 2023.
Right, right, right.
So
I had the same. I had the same thing in 2017. Before I bought, first one I did using the previous income, and then the next one I had to wait till
2
I
years
guess. Yeah,
or one.
two,
2 years.
2 years. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I did a deal with owner financing. In meanwhile,
Mm.
I had somebody. I had somebody who was selling the property to me, and that would finance the deal, and so I did that deal, which is
And how
great. And
did
then I
that work out?
refinanced. It's great. It was a small, cheap condo. I bought it. The owner financed it for me, and then I refinanced when the rates dropped. But I got the 30 years fixed loan.
Okay.
We negotiated 30-year fixed loan,
Uh-huh.
but I refinanced it when the rates dropped. So I paid them off, and then I put conventional, and then that helped me buy some time. I was always like, I'm always looking for deals. Always.
Yeah.
My goal, well, like my number one goal is to grow sales because that brings more cash flow.
Mhm.
But the goal right next to it, and sometimes even like pushing the first goal, is own investments. I'm always looking for a next investment.
Yeah.
But I'm done with condos and houses. I'm only buying multifamily now.
Mm. Okay. Why
I've
is
gone
that?
through the cheap condos, and that there's I loved it until one moment. It gives you cash flow,
Mhm.
less management,
Mhm.
but there's no principal reduction, and appreciation is okay, but principal reduction is not. So when you buy a cheap condo, it's 100,000. You buy 25% down, 75 loan.
Mhm.
Every single year, you look at your loan, it's almost the same.
Mhm.
Like it was 70, next year is 69.5. Like I didn't pay off anything.
Mhm.
That's the problem with cheap loans, you know. So I'm like,
Mm.
I'm looking for a little bit something that is a little bit bigger price,
Mhm.
bigger loan. So every month it's getting paid down, grows in price, and I control the rents and I control the value of the building.
Okay.
That's
So
like,
so like
but
4
you can't
plus
do it
unit.
six plus.
So that's commercial.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to get a commercial, you need to have experience with no. I thought that.
Maybe I consider being considered as experienced because I had properties before I bought my first
Oh,
building.
okay, yeah.
But I don't think they cared about it. They look at,
Okay.
do you have a down payment? Does the building cash flows? Because I know
Mhm.
people that bought with no experience at all
Okay.
through the banks. They're looking at the deal,
Uh-huh.
and they're looking, give me 25 to 30% down as a bank, and they need to run all the numbers, everything matches, they give you a loan. You're gonna
Yeah.
close.
Interesting. Have
So,
you
but
done a DSCR loan?
yeah,
Do you
all my
think they're good?
investments DSCR.
Oh,
All of my
I was
investments
thinking
DSCR.
about that one.
Yeah, all balloons. Like, no, like I got 10 conventionals because that's, you can go up to 10 conventional
Yeah.
loans. And then I started doing commercials, which is DSCR, balloon loans. But if I was you, I would just do conventional up to 10.
Yeah, primary. For my next one, I'm gonna live
Yeah.
in it.
And then your future husband does the up to 10. Don't marry until he gets up to 10, because and then you become one entity. So,
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
then, you start buying DSCRs, commercial loans, because that's the only way you got
Okay. Yeah.
as an investment.
Yeah.
Unless you can squeeze out an 11th property for yourself if it's like a multifamily and then you're going to be living in one. There's going to be a certain point where you're going to like, I don't want to live with, I want on my own,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
So like in the beginning, I'm like, you can even live sometimes in the basement or an attic,
Uh-huh.
survive and build up, and that there's a reason why you're doing it. But, so, yeah,
Well,
that was
I'm
great.
probably looking to get either a multifamily or a single for the next time
Next one.
for the next.
Maybe we get a apartment building, 2-3 units. That's a great one.
Maybe.
They're expensive.
Yeah.
They cost a lot of money per unit.
Uh-huh.
Once you start running the numbers, and if you put less than 10-15%, you probably break even every time.
I think I like single families more,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe like a 2 or 3 unit, up to 4.
Up to 4.
But
Yeah.
I don't want to overwhelm myself with too many.
But when you
Yeah.
get more than 4, you have to go with
The commercial.
commercial loan. But when you up to 10, I would just use, if I was me again,
Mhm.
I would use the conventionals up to 10 and don't worry about the SCRs.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. That's probably what I'm gonna do.
So thanks, Valerie, for doing this one.
Yep.
That was inspiring for those who are newer, who are trying to grow and get some motivation.
Some ideas out there.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Follow
yep.
Valerie for more. Where do they? How can they find
My Instagram is real estate with Vale, and then my Facebook is just my name, Valeria Sanchez.
you? Yeah. Thank you guys. Thanks so much. See you on the next one.